Hello everyone, you're now with me, Ruben Gomez, for TVS Nightline. Now, let's begin. Chief Minister Dato' Petinggi Abang Johari Tun Openg on Tuesday received a courtesy call from the outgoing Indonesian Consul General in Kuching, Sarawak, Yoni Tri Prayitno. The meeting centered talks on the relocations of the Indonesian capital to Kalimantan, as well as the COVID-19 management.
According to Yoni, the Consulate General of the Republic of Indonesia had been following Sarawak's examples in managing the COVID-19 pandemic. In addition, they also discussed on efforts to further develop trade and tourism between the two regions, as well as on the Immigration, Customs, Quarantine and Security Complex ICQS.
Kami juga terus bicarakan tentang pengembangan berikutnya. Di antaranya juga adalah pengembangan bidang perdagangan, kemudian bidang pelancongan atau tourism, dan juga hubungan komuniti antara dua masyarakat Indonesia dengan Sarawak.
Yoni has been the Consul General of the Republic of Indonesia in Kuching since August 2018, and he is due to end his service on Thursday, 30th September. However, no official announcement was made regarding his replacement.
Sampai saat ini belum ada penetapan. Tapi mudah-mudahan mungkin dalam 1 bulan 2 bulan ini sudah ada penetapan dan bisa langsung dilantik untuk menjadi Konsul Jenderal yang baru.
Deputy Chief Minister Tan Sri Dr. James Jamut Masing has confirmed reports that he was admitted to the intensive care unit ICU of Sarawak General Hospital after being tested positive for COVID-19. When contacted, he assured that his condition was improving and urged everyone to be wary of the situation and not be complacent.
Masing confirmed the matter via a short text message to TVS. He was confirmed to be positive COVID-19 after experiencing flu and fever-like symptoms a few days before. For the record, he had received both doses of the COVID-19 vaccine. He also took the opportunity to urge those who had not been vaccinated to get their vaccines.
From 1st October, flight frequency to Sarawak will be increased gradually from 22 to 87 flights weekly. State Transport Minister Dato' Lee Kim Shin today said the matter was decided by the Sarawak Disaster Management Committee SDMC in its meeting last week.
The flights will be from Kuala Lumpur, Kota Kinabalu, Penang, Johor Bahru, Kota Bahru, Labuan and Singapore to main destinations in the state, namely Kuching, Sibu, Bintulu, Miri and Limbang. As such, he expects an increase in the number of passengers and movement of people into the state from 1st October onwards with the increase in flight frequency to Sarawak. He said the decision was made after taking into consideration the gradual reopening of the state's tourism sector and the relaxed standard operating procedures, among others. According to Kim Shin, a meeting was held today with all airlines and aviation authorities as well as the divisional resident offices and the Federal Transport Ministry to look into the details of the new flight schedule and ensure its smooth implementation.
We are entering a new era of the humanitarian and environmental crisis centered around food and agriculture due to the pandemic, coupled with the movement control order imposed had caused disruption in the agriculture supply chain in Malaysia. As the country shifted to the endemic pace and various economic activities gradually resume, farmers need to understand the new way of farming over the conventional methods. Above all, are to optimize their produce through innovation to cater for the demands in the market. Farming revolution through advanced analytical capabilities and constantly improvement of Internet of Things would enable each farmer capable to feed a wider range of people as compared to the conventional methods. As such, farming has become synonymous with the Dayak community in Sarawak. Serembu Assemblyman Mirosimo said it is time for the Dayak community to leave behind traditional cultivation way.
Where we can produce more in terms of productions, in term of yields and so on. So we need to emulate the modern way of farming rather than keep doing the traditional way.
Miro added the government, through the Department of Agriculture, should approach and prepare the local community in modern farming.
Let them know the knowledge of modern farming so we can produce more, what we call more agriculture product, high yield and high quality of product of agriculture.
Miro also said that he himself has adapted to fertigations of watermelon and ginger, adding that modern farming could ease things and have better yield. Under the 5 years 12 Malaysia plan, efforts to accelerate the adoptions of modern technologies among farmers will be implemented. This is by encouraging farmers to utilize the big data analytic, Internet of Things, IoT, and AI, as well as intensifying usage of drones. A dedicated smart farming fund will also be introduced to support the accelerations of modern technology adoption in the agriculture. Ruben Gomez, TVS. The sustainability of the tourism industry is vital as it has substantial spillover effects on the country economy. Local communities play an important role in tourism development. They are regarded as legitimate and moral stakeholders in tourism development. As the COVID-19 pandemic arrived since 2020, the tourism sector has affected the most. Libiki Bamboo Resort Managing Director Shahradi Libiki says he was positioned in a tight spot to operate his business since the MCO was reintroduced early this year.
Tahun tu kami orang start tutup dari bulan tengahan bulan 5 rasanya sampai lagi ni. Masa kami agaklah ada sebab kami perlu maintain bah. So maintenance dari segi maintenance banyak juga sebenarnya kemudian. Tapi kami orang pula diimpun lah macam kami turun padang diimpun semua.
One of the 12 MP plan is that local communities will be engaged to increase their participation in tourism at their respective area. Serembu Assemblyman Mirosimo said this is a great opportunity for the local community to get involved in this business.
This is a time for us to get the community involved, to gain that something from the tourism industry. But for me, don't just talk. The ministry people need to go down, go to the people itself, to the community itself, to know what they need. To develop the product is the most important. We just can't talk only, because
he said it is important to have all the industry players to be aided by the government financially.
This is what I see, The importance of government support, yes, that is what we want in terms of advice, and the most important in terms of funding, because not so many people have money to develop their product.
The 5 years plan outlines several strategies on revitalizing the country's tourism industry. The sustainability of the tourism industry is vital as it has substantial spillover effects on the economy, whereby in 2019, the industry provided 3.6 million jobs, which contributed 23.6% of total employment. Ruben Gomez, TVS. You might be accustomed to the term TVET or TVET. It stands for Technical, Vocational, Education and Training, which is an industry with high demands to fill in. But did you know TVET has always been considered a second choice by parents and students alike? Why is it so? Our Assistant Minister of Education, Science and Technological Research, Dr. Anwar Rupai, has the details.
TVET has usually been considered as a second choice by a lot of parents and by students. This is mainly because we cannot prove to the parents and the students that TVET is a good future in terms of employment. Okay, so in order to resolve this, there must be a very close working relationship between the companies and the institution. Okay, because if they do not talk to each other, then the companies and the institution will not know what the companies want. And if the institution do not know how the company will grow, they will not able to supply the manpower.
Recently, the federal government tabled an initiative that will give focus to science, technology, engineering, and mathematics or STEM subjects in order to prepare students for digitalization and the Fourth Industrial Revolution 4IR. Anwar has since then approved the Flex Pack program to all schools in Cebu that will enhance the learning experience of STEM subjects in school and also virtually. Therefore, Anwar hopes talks between the supplier and user, in this case institutions and companies, should be established effectively to eradicate a mismatch of employment.
Institution, what type of jobs they require, so that there's no mismatch lah. Not unless you all do this, there will be a lot still going on unemployment between graduates and what not to say TVET lah, the vocational training. So to me, there must be a very strong platform. Di sini ada mengadakan platform berpusat bagi data penawaran dan permintaan TVET. Okay, akan dibangunkan. So this is a very good move, so that this mismatch will not happen between the supplier, that's the institution, and between the user, that is the companies. Okay.
mengira hari bila lagi biar tu nak SPM, sebab tak sabar-sabar nak habis beli kuih je pun pagi-pagi. Saya tak ada duit, dengan mak pergi pasar Setutong beli kuih, then kita amuk kuih ya. Mak cakap macam tu, macam budak kecil kita buat macam gitu kan. Tetapi ada masanya kita ini diuji. Jangan lupa saksikan kami Cikgu Azila di Gaspirasi setiap Rabu jam 9 malam hanya di TVS saluran 122 Astro dan My TV.
Paparan menarik bantras COVID-19 minggu ini.
Saringan telah meningkat daripada 50,000 ke angka 150,000 saringan yang dijalankan pada setiap hari.
Mereka semua memberi teamwork yang baik dalam mengurus pesakit-pesakit yang sangat kritikal.
Anakku nak sekolah, anak saya nak sekolah. Semua orang nak sekolah, nak jalani kehidupan macam biasa.
Pastikan anda bersama kami Bantras COVID-19 setiap Isnin jam 10 malam hanya di TVS.
Hai semua, jangan lupa saksikan Inspirasi TVS, segmen berita yang mengetengahkan laporan berkaitan rakyat, hiburan serta topik trending.
Inspirasi TVS dan saya Melissa Francis.
Saya Harry Francis.
Saya Dewiliana Suriesta.
Dan saya Tony Yusof.
Saya Bob Yusof akan menemani anda.
Dan saya Mahmud Ali Bashar.
Dan saya Nana Shimi.
Dan saya Andin Indrawani.
Saya Karen Libau.
Welcome back. COVID-19 cases in Malaysia rose to 11,332 cases today. There were 986 cases warded in intensive care units ICU nationwide, with 574 patients requiring ventilators. The cases reported today were, however, outpaced by the 14,160 recoveries recorded. The highest number of cases was recorded in Sarawak, with 2,358 infections, followed by Johor, 1,319, and Selangor, 1,231. In Sarawak, majority of the cases at 2,344 or 99.41% are Category 1 and 2, while the remaining 14 cases or 0.59% are in Category 3, 4 and 5. Kuching District recorded the highest number of infections with 657, followed by Cebu with 255 and Bintulu 183. Sarawak reported 16 new fatalities from September 9th to 27th. 15 of the fatalities were mostly individuals in their 50s to 90s, while the remaining one is a 30-year-old man from Sarawak. The cumulative death toll in the state now stands at 794. No new cluster emerged today, bringing the total active cluster now at 115, with 10 of the clusters reported 106 new cases. 2 clusters has ended, dubbed the Paon Rimu cluster in Surian and Sungai Sangan cluster in Tatau. No infections reported there in the past 28 days. Now, 3 men were killed after their car ran onto a tree along Jalan Bako this evening. The single vehicle collision took place at 6:30 p.m. and victims were traversing from Kuching to Bako.
It was believed that the sedan car lost control before crashing onto a tree off the road shoulder. All occupants of the vehicle were pronounced dead by paramedics that were summoned to the scene. The identity of the victims have yet to be established. However, sources indicate that one of the victims was 26 of age. Sarawak Traffic Investigation and Enforcement Department Chief Superintendent Alexan Nagachabu, when contacted, confirmed the case and said investigations are ongoing. The case is now classified under Section 41(1) of the Transportation Act 1987. Rescue efforts to extricate the bodies from the wreckage were carried out by firefighters from Tabuan Jaya Fire Station.
80% of road accidents were caused by human factors and negligence, such as speeding, driving under the influences and not following road rules, thereby denying allegations that the Ministry of Transport has issued directive for senior citizens aged 70 and above to return their driving license. Its Minister Datuk Sri Dr. Wee Ka Siong said driving competency should not be measured based on age, as there are other factors that contribute to road accidents.
The Transport Minister told Dewan Rakyat there is no age discrimination and said that the issue is mostly regarding competency.
Kerana kompetensi berlainan macam yang berhormat Langkawi, beliau dapat memandu dengan baik, jauh lebih baik daripada orang yang gila-gila bawa kereta di atas jalan raya. Ini tidak boleh ada diskriminasi.
We said 80% of road accidents were caused by human factors, 13% due to vehicle failure, and 7% contributed by the environment. Driving under the influence of alcohol can also raise the risk of accidents by 13 times compared to a sober person. We said one of the major contributing factors to accidents were speeding, driving under the influence of alcohol and drugs, using mobile phones or navigation applications, and not following road rules.
3 longhouses in Cebu received a total of 8.5 million ringgit for land compensation. The affected longhouses are Kunsud Aning Longhouse, Imu Gima Longhouse and Antoni Amit Gurum Longhouse, which houses 58 residents. These longhouses were among few that were affected due to the constructions of Pan Borneo Highway.
Initially, the residents of these longhouses refused to migrate. After several negotiation sessions, Datuk Len Talif said both parties settled with an agreement. Len, who is the Assistant Minister of Urban Planning, Land Custody and Environment, said among concerns that were raised was safety due to the distance of the highway and their residences.
Apa yang kita lihat pada hari ini merupakan satu program pampasan Pan Borneo di mana 3 rumah panjang yang ini yang asalnya tidak mau berpindah. Setelah berbincang dan sebagainya, mereka setuju untuk berpindah dan pampasannya yang melibatkan 3 buah rumah panjang dengan kos pampasannya 8.5 juta. Jadi setelah berbincang sebegitu lama, jadi mereka bersetuju untuk dipindah ke tempat yang lain.
Len showed gratitude to the residents to smoothen the construction of the Pan Borneo Highway and said the families would enjoy benefits once the highway is completed.
The 4.09 billion ringgit allocation for Sarawak to implement the National Digital Network Plan Jendela under the 12th Malaysia Plan 12 MP comes as a timely boost to upgrade its education infrastructure while supporting its digital economy initiatives. University Malaysia Sarawak Unimas Deputy Vice Chancellor, Student Affairs and Alumni, Professor Datuk Muhammad Fadzil Abdul Rahman said The fund would help boost technical and vocational education and training TVET and science, technology, engineering and mathematics STEM in the state.
He added Sarawak needs to have more technically skilled human resources in order to embrace the fourth industrial revolution IR 4.0 and achieve its vision to become a developed state. According to him, the implementation of teaching and learning from home PDPR during the COVID-19 pandemic had not been 100% successful due to the poor internet connectivity, especially in the rural and remote areas. Commenting on the proposed building of the 560 million Unimas hospital in Kota Samarahan, he said that it is a well-strategized move to enhance healthcare in Sarawak under the 12th MP. He added that the focus of the hospital would be on ensuring the well-being of the people, especially in the densely populated Samarahan and surrounding areas.
The continuous maintenance of hospital medical equipment by the Ministry of Health without setting an optimal period for use can be financially detrimental to the government. According to the Auditor General's report, the maintenance cost has exceeded the cost of new procurement, with the medical equipment still using old technology with deteriorating performance.
It added, information from the Asset Services Information System, or ASIS, is not being optimally used to make decisions relating to budget application, procurement planning, and setting up the maintenance period. The audits also revealed that 8 hospitals did not utilize the ASIS system, 5 of which were using other maintenance systems, while 3 others had no maintenance system at all. As such, it was recommended for the MOH to provide a comprehensive policy relating to the management of medical equipment, including the procurement of new equipment, replacement plan, maintenance and disposal to ensure effective management and give added value to the government.
Sarawak Multimedia Authority merupakan satu lagi inisiatif Ketua Menteri Sarawak untuk memastikan pembangunan ekonomi digital dilaksanakan. Di bawah Dasar Ekonomi Digital Sarawak, SMA mengenal pasti 8 sektor ekonomi dan 7 pemangkin. 8 sektor ekonomi tersebut adalah pertanian, industri perkilangan 4.0, bandar pintar, pelancongan, kesihatan digital, e-perdagangan, kerajaan digital dan sosial. Manakala 7 pemangkin yang akan memacu usaha ini ialah infrastruktur digital, pembangunan bakat dan kemahiran digital, penyelidikan dan pembangunan ekonomi digital, keusahawanan dan inovasi digital, digital dan data, keselamatan cyber dan keinklusifan digital. Rakyat Sarawak diharapkan dapat membuka minda dan mencari idea-idea baru untuk menghasilkan inovasi digital bagi menjadikan Sarawak negeri maju berpendapatan tinggi menjelang 2030.
The patterns on batiks are usually inspired by nature and are beautifully drawn by experts.
The title Adi Guru or Master is a title well earned and should be respected greatly, as it is not easy to gain knowledge, experience, and techniques that can later be shared with generations to come.
Join me, Arabird, as we learn more about the art of batik here on The Cloth Story.
Pada kepercayaan saya, selagi kita tidak putus asa, kita akan berjaya satu hari nanti. Perjalanan mesti diteruskan. Mata tetap pandang ke hadapan, matahari tetap terbit dan terbenam, walau apa jua yang berlaku. Saya berharap Sarawak boleh melahirkan lebih banyak atlet yang bertaraf dunia. Agi hidup, agi ngelaban.
Welcome back. You need to be carefully chucking out the rubbish in the Monte Mario area of Rome, or you could get run over by wild boars. Sightings of wild boars trotting along the streets are not uncommon for northern Rome residents. Incursions of animals in front of buildings and schools are heating up, a major debate ahead of a mayoral election scheduled for early October.
Local administrations have failed to implement effective management plans for the boars who have come to the city to get food from the large parks and the outskirts. The residents there complain that they, the wild boars, are rummaging through their bins and cause car accidents. Dogs bark as a mother and her piglets, snuffling loudly, rummage through the streets, walking in the road next to cars and avoiding Vespas. Mayor Virginia Ragi, as she seeks re-election, is struggling to shift responsibility for the capital's most serious issues, including wild animals, poor maintenance of pavements, and heaps of rubbish piling up everywhere in the city. Ragi has recently filed a suit against the Lazio region, which includes the Italian capital, saying it is up to the regional administration led by the centre-left Democratic Party to solve the issue. The Lazio region denied this, saying the management of animals outside of parks is instead up to the city councils. The boars doesn't seem to mind about the debate. They are happy with the easy pickings and maybe getting to scare a few residents.
It may look like little more than a metal box on wheels and is now only being used in a handful of places. It's something of a trend. It is the self-driving delivery by Chinese e-commerce giant JD.com, which will soon be rolled out on a large scale across the country.
The firms expect to have more than 2,200 robots in operation by 2022, encouraged by the falling cost of producing robots. Millions of couriers still deliver goods or a meal for as cheap as 3 yuan in China. However, companies have been exploring the use of drones or box-like robots on wheels from as early as 2013 amid rising labor costs and better technology. Leading Chinese delivery and ride-hailing companies have also been instructed by regulators to improve the treatment of workers who face heavy pressure and take big risks to meet tight deadlines. JD.com had targeted a June 2020 launch in Beijing, but started using the service earlier in Wuhan in February, when the central Chinese city where COVID-19 first emerged went under lockdown. The company said it devised the software itself and worked with a partner company to design the vehicle. In addition to being slow, the self-driving vehicles cannot climb stairs. So far, the robots only allowed on certain routes, like in housing estates and school campuses, because of speed limits and road conditions. The robots and self-driving vehicles also tend to be used to deliver less time-sensitive products like packages rather than food.
Volvo is going vegan-friendly. The Swedish car maker said that its vehicle range will go leather-free by 2030, offering instead bio-based and recycled materials. Why? To meet the demands of a customer base that increasingly wants sustainably sourced products.
Volvo said the shift recognizes customer concerns over animal welfare issues in the leather industry and the environmental impacts of cattle farming. It also coincides with the sustainable aspirations of Volvo's plan to offer an all-electric car lineup by 2030. Volvo's current all-electric C40 Recharge model is already leather-free, and the company is exploring using materials such as Nordico, made from forestry byproducts, recycled corks, and plastic bottles. Volvo says the material has the same softness and warmth as leather. The car maker also aims to use recycled polyester to cut its carbon footprint and linen from flax plants grown in Sweden in between crops, which replenishes the soil. Volvo will also use flex fibers for door panels.
Well, that concludes TVS Nightline. I'm Ruben Gomez. Anytime, anywhere.